So this has got too thin of pieces. You can see it's cracking. So that one's reject. Won't make it to resin. It's a great design, but I've had a lot of troubles with it. And I haven't released it because I've had so many problems. It just seems too thin. I'm still working on trying to get the right thickness, but still need spacing, because you can see spacing right there is bad. That corner is a huge air gap, that one. And you can see even after I cleaned it, I did this one. This one had a little bit better success, and it could be resin related too, or printer related, sorry. But you can see there's an air trap. There's an air trap that's going to be just a beast to try and get resin in. And that's just not going to fly. So that one will probably be an experiment to see how the resin flows. That's it. This one is trash. And all I was doing on these is I get little fissures where the layers don't bond. If I've got old files that I'm still working through that I've done some improvements on. You'll also notice this one is bigger, and that's to size for the smallest printer that I have. And I had some different print settings that were faster and not very good print settings. So these three, while they have that layer adhesion issue, periodically there were holes all up along here and here. They weren't probably all the way through. However, once I pour resin, I don't want it to leak through and have a mess. I usually put it inside one of these because of that reason, in case it leaks, or if I spill, got containment and it's not gonna be in my pressure pot. This one was an interesting piece to show you because when I took it off, I had the base layers so high that I had great adhesion on this bottom, and that's a lot of surface area. So when I went to peel it, it literally cracked just from the force of trying to peel it off the plate. So that crack went all the way down there. I got a piece out of the middle, but remember, this is just a mold. I'm pouring resin in this. As long as that's watertight and doesn't leak resin, my design's all pretty much contained to the inside, so it doesn't matter. So I repaired this one, and that one will still get a good pour, and it'll still make a good blank. Again, this is another one where the spaces are pretty tight. So when I go to pour it, it's going to need to go so that the airflow can come out of the other side. So if I pour on here, air comes out here. All these round ones, they have a design. One of the things I've been playing with on these, I put air holes on the bottom so they wouldn't suction cup, because I had a lot of problems where, like this one, you notice I've got the lamination lines. That's not just print setting. Some of it's struggling to pull it off the film, and it does have a tendency to separate, especially if it's not cured enough. So, or if the resin hasn't had time to backfill adequately. I've noticed that too. So there's a couple different things that can cause that. And right here you can see there's a rough band right from here to here. So it might have just not been flowing good at the time or curing good at the time. Because I don't watch them all the way through the print, I have to go back and take a look at what the settings were in order to kind of figure that out. But that's why I was filling in this type of resin on like all these areas, just to make sure that they're airtight and they're not going to leak. And then this one where I put the air holes in the bottom just to make sure they didn't suction cup. So these will be pretty much ready to fill. Those are an experimental group, and all of these. And then you can see I've got one more design that I've been experimenting with that's being cleaned, and I still don't have the spacing right. When I can't get the resin out from printing, I know I'm not going to get resin to pour back in. So this one in particular is going to be a real beast, and probably not going to make it past test phase at this point. And the rest of these are all tried and true designs because they're big cavities. There's nothing to worry about except for getting stuck. And my cleaning solution's getting pretty filthy, so I got to get it changed over again. So when I find if I haven't done it in time, I know I can get clean samples because I'm pouring resin in there. If I don't, I know what's going to come up is there will be residual, and that resin's going to react and it's going to come out white, and it's not going to look good, and it's going to have a white line wherever that contaminates. But here, when it comes to resin pouring, you can see that's going to be too tight, so that's a design flaw. I've got this one, got that space is good, this is all good. Even these are hard to pour resin in. If there's a need to, I fill one of these and fill as I pull up. But I don't like doing that because at 12-minute pot times, you'll get one blank done only, and you'll be scrambling because all of these need time for the air to evacuate, and it's not fast. And if you pour too fast and you clog because this is so small, it just puddles there and the surface tension doesn't allow it to go down. So what you're gonna have to do is wait and wait and wait as you're going around the blank trying to fill it, and eventually you can get it to go down, but not always before the pot life ends on you and you gotta get it in the pressure pot. If that's the case, sometimes you can do them in 2 pours. It depends. If it blocks the top and you can't get to the bottom, your blank's done. Although in rare cases I have ground the bottom off just to see what's going on, and then I've been able to re-pour from the top side because the design goes all the way through and then comes off that side. Here you can see how much easier it is when you got big cavities. It cleans right up. It's real nice. And then you have to make sure they're dry, because if they do not dry completely, it's a contamination again and your resin will get messed up. So there's a few steps that you just got to pay attention to, but these blanks turn out pretty detailed. I mix a lot of my own colors. I customize my colors because I find that the customers that love these blanks are people that want bright colors. They do not want just plain, and if I go plain or dull or just kind of standard, they just sit. So I definitely know at this point I want to make sure I've got bright colors. So that's why I'm not afraid to mix my own, and then I can make a variety of different colors rather than being stuck with strictly with the material from the factory, whatever the stock colors are. And all of these blanks, I take the time to design them and then I test them. That's what I do before I even put them into digital format for sale in our Etsy store, because I'm not going to sell blanks that if I can't use it, someone else can't use it. That's my theory. So it's nice that I have the ability to test and do test it. And the round ones have had a lot of not concerns or problems, but some difficulties, technical issues where, because of the way the design is, you can cause trapped cavities really fast. This is what it looks like once it's filled, and it's rock solid, ready to go. So that's just what I've been working on in our blanks for our 3D printing, and I just wanted to start getting some material out there to show some of the different designs, and that pretty much anybody who's doing 3D printing, resin printers, the PLAs, you can use them on that. I know I've had a lot of customers that use my digital files doing PLA printers. I find that the details are going to be there consistently on resin printers, but I have not had any complaints or negative feedback from people that have bought my files for using the filament printers and printing in PLA either. So that's good news to not have issues no matter what kind of printing you're doing. Other than that, that's just kind of what a day of doing some of them are. And I'll have some resin pouring coming up in a very short period of time because I'm going to do some of these experimental round tubes. And then the ones you see here, and any of these that need to still dry and get finished cleaning.